here are 3 of my favorite client getting strategies that I personally like to use, and these are things that I recommend to people who are just getting started, actually. So first strategy is to basically demonstrate your expertise in various groups. And if you look around on Facebook, for example, there are tons of free and even paid groups out there, and they're full of business owners and entrepreneurs who are looking to get their problems solved. And there's lots of qualified people there, but you do have to filter them. So here's what you do. You go join groups like ClickFunnels or Justin and Stefan Talk Copy. It's also one of a great copywriting group, or the Copywriter Club or something like that, or Kingpinning. That's also a great book, group. And then you search for relevant posts for people. Like, let's say somebody's saying, hey guys, I'm struggling to write sales email sequences. Like, can you help? You search for those posts. You just search for email, for example, or email copywriter, and then you simply start answering their questions with helpful tips. So even as you're learning copywriting itself, what you're learning, you just rehashing to those people, and you don't explicitly ask something in return. You just are there to be helpful. And believe me, like, after a few of these, not everybody, but some of them are going to reach out to you and say, hey, I appreciate your help so much. Can I actually hire you to do this for me? Because I'm very busy as a business owner. And that's one of the common things that business owners have, is that they're super busy. So if it makes sense for them, they're really happy to hire you to do some stuff, especially copywriting for them, if they see that you're an expert. And one of the best ways to demonstrate that you're an expert is by reaching out to them and being helpful. So let's just look at the chat a little bit. So can you list all the groups, at least some of them, Sayadin? Basically, you're gonna be able to revisit this from the replay, or maybe I'm gonna add it to these slides as well. I'm not gonna start writing it right now, but you can just I'm just gonna tell it one more time, and then you can watch it from the replay. So ClickFunnels is a good one. Stefan and Justin Talk Copy, that's one of the best ones. The Copywriter Club. If you want to focus on e-commerce, then Kingpinning is a group that could be good. There's also other various job boards or something like that. Cult of Copy, for example, the Cult of Copy. That's also good. Om says, follow Dan Lok. I'm not really a big fan of Dan Lok, actually. I know that he has a really expensive copywriting course, but I've heard really bad things about it, to be honest. And it's not him that's teaching the copywriting. It's not he has a bunch of people working for him that do the copywriting. It's like he's just the business owner. He's the brand face of it as well. I think that this strategy actually works pretty well. But you do need to have some knowledge for it. But you can easily get it in a few weeks, even if you want. So the second strategy is Upwork and freelancing sites. Now, this is a bit more difficult nowadays than when it was 4 years ago when I got started, but also it can still work pretty well. So think about this. You are a copywriter. You're trying to be a copywriter. So why not just act like a copywriter and do copywriting for your own profile as well, okay? Because remember, 90% of freelancers are total amateurs. And even if you just respect the pro code and you just do some copywriting magic on your profile as well, you can stand out compared to others as well. And here's a quick tip for you. Here's what clients actually want from you. They want reasonably priced experts who can solve their problem without causing more complications. So that's what clients actually want from you. That's it. They want a reasonably priced expert, not the cheapest one, who can solve their problem and do it without causing more complications. So if you can do that, you're definitely going to be successful there. And here's an interesting Upwork proposal example that actually was one of my own proposals for the photographer client that I mentioned a few minutes ago. It was one of my first clients, and this is exactly what I sent them. I'm not going to read it right now because we don't have the time for it, but you're going to get it from the slides later as well. And basically, what I want to highlight you here is that this has basically 4 parts. The first part is basically just connecting with them. So I'm not trying to pitch them something immediately. I'm just trying to like connect with them and build rapport with them. It's like, hey, I checked out your website and you have this cool thing called trash to dress type of images and I really like it. Then I suggested something to them. So I gave them value. I said, hey, I noticed that you don't have an email opt-in box on your website to collect email addresses. So have you thought about like adding this? Because then you would get leads and you can get customers from emails as well. And then after this helpful bit, I just said, this is very important. We can discuss the details, of course, but first I just wanted to see if this is something you might be interested in. So I'm not trying to like immediately like overwhelm them. I just say, hey, if you're interested, you reach out to me. And this is very important to reframe the whole context, because I'm not saying them, please, please, please don't hire me. I do anything you want. I'm saying I can help you, but if you're interested, then let me know. And then they have to do the first step. And then even if they reach out, it's like, if you're interested, would it be okay if I sent out over a few ideas on how I could help? Like, how could they refuse this? Like, somebody just congratulated them on their work, so built rapport with them. Somebody just gave them some valuable information without asking anything in return. And then they just, ask them whether it'd be okay to send even more tips. Like, why would they say no? Obviously, they're going to say yes, most of them. And like, that's exactly what happened. I sent them a few more ideas. We exchanged a few messages, and then he hired me to write 5 emails for $500 for a photographer. So pretty cool. And you can definitely model this yourself if you want. And you're going to see it in the replay as well. You'll be able to like copy it if you want. So before I tell you about the third client getting strategy, I quickly want to like tell you about 6 common mistakes that actually repel clients, because this little presentation, this email template here, or like proposal template, works really well, but notice that it doesn't have these mistakes that I'm about to show you. So 6 of the most common mistakes. First of all, you're desperate. If you act desperate, it signals to the client that you don't know what you're doing, that you're an amateur, and they don't want somebody to mess up their stuff. They want, remember, a specialist who can help them. And you don't have to be a world-class specialist, by the way. You can still be a beginner specialist. There are world-class specialists. And some clients, they can only afford like beginner specialists. That's totally okay, but don't act desperate. And don't start selling from your heels, which means that you're kind of like, hey, I would be so grateful if you could maybe give me the chance to prove myself. I promise to like do everything you want. Again, it's desperate. It's selling from your heels. It projects low confidence, which means to them that you don't know what you're doing. Also, if you send over too many samples, like clients don't want more work. They just want to like see very briefly whether you can actually do the work that you want to help them with or not. You just send over 1 or 2 examples of your previous work, for example. Or if you don't have these previous samples, you just write something for them right there based on a few copywriting principles, and then that's it. Also, if it's hard to communicate with, or like you're a difficult person, you're trying to make your clients' lives more difficult, or if you don't follow the pro code, these are all things that basically repel clients. The third strategy that I want to just briefly mention is that you meet the client where they're at. So basically, let's say you enjoy improvement Bree's work. And this is actually how I got to like work with improvement Phil, is that I joined his email list and I observed what he did. And then I offered you can offer helpful advice to people without actually seeming needy. So like, you just say, hey, like, thank you so much for all this free content that you're sharing me. It's super valuable. Now, I noticed that you don't have an automated welcome sequence for people, for example. Like if you you asked about somebody asked about like good example of copywriting. If you join, when you join Improvement Pills email list, you get some automated so-called onboarding emails. So they're like welcome emails, like giving you some stuff to get you acquainted with his whole thing. Those are, for example, a good example of copywriting. And you can sell something like that similarly to clients as well. And to tell you the truth, most clients and most like smaller clients definitely don't have these automated welcome sequences. And you can easily say that, hey, you know, I noticed that you don't have this. So that way, you know, new subscribers, you know, don't get to know you easily. They don't trust you. So would you need help with that? And believe me when I say that there's basically zero competition with this, because almost nobody does this. Like I have people on my email list, and some of them are beginner copywriters, most of them, in fact, but like it's zero competition. Like nobody reaches out to me to suggest things. And like I'm a copywriter, so it does, like I don't need suggestions. But like most business owners, they're definitely not copywriters. They're business owners. They need copywriting suggestions. So it can definitely help. But like, what exactly should you say to them? Well, just use my done for you 5-part consulting email sequence, okay? It's basically, and I'm gonna just give it to you right now. So right now, a little button will appear in the chat, and you can click it and you can download this. It's basically, as I said, an almost done for you email sequence that you can just fill in the blanks, and you can customize it. And you can just, like, even if you're a super beginner, you just go to the client and I say, hey, I want to write a few-part email sequence for you. And if they hire you, this is what you just customize and sell them. And boom, you got yourself a client and a paying project. That's it.